And then, what's going on, everybody? Hello, hello, hello. I hope you are all enjoying your Friday. Hola, I should say. Hola, todos. Would it be boa tarde or boa noite at this hour?
Boa noite.
Boa noite.
Boa noite. Okay. Boa noite a todos. We're talking Festival da Canção today because we got all 20 songs were released with lyric videos. It's a festival that, if you've followed Eurovox for a little while, I definitely have a lot of excitement about it every year. Clara, I don't know how often you follow Festival da Canção, but at least you're going to be following it this year. And then, of course, we've got Alex and Rita, who are from Portugal. They're going to be filling us in on all kinds of things relating to the artists. And I'm going to start with you first, Rita, because Rita, you were there today at, what was it at the broadcaster, RTP?
It was, I think they've used that place to do some conferences, and it's actually very, it's near the studios. And I really enjoyed the day. I wasn't expecting it to be like that good. It was very nerve-wracking, but honestly, they were all so nice. Very approachable people that I got even more excited for this year's Festival da Canção. So I'm really rooting for everyone, to be honest. I just love them all.
And you were saying before that you got to meet a bunch of people that you've been listening to their music since you were young. Tell me about some of the people that you were really excited to see.
Yeah, so the first person I was really excited to see was Aurea, but she wasn't there. I cried inside, but there were other people there that I was like fangirling totally, like FF and Ciro. Because Ciro is more recent. He became like more famous, I would say 2020, because he had this huge single that we would listen to in every radio. And I was really excited when I saw that he was one of the composers for this year's Eurovision, and I was praying and hoping that he would be the one to sing the song, and he is. But I would say that FF, it was like a different kind of excitement because I grew up listening to his songs. So yeah, and they were all so nice that I was just very happy that I got to see people that I followed since I was a kid into this world of Eurovision that I've been following these past years. So yeah, it was quite exciting.
Yeah, sounds like it. Before we go any further, let's say hello to some people who are in the live. As Stephen C is saying, can't wait for this year's Salvador Sobral. Interesting. DJ Parody is asking us who is going to represent Portugal. Well, I mean, I guess that's the question that's on everybody's mind, isn't it?
Yes, anything can happen, to be honest.
Anything can happen. Hello to Cassandra McBride saying it's only the release of the 22 songs of the national selection. No one has chosen yet, of course. Hello to our main man, Andy. Hello to EXC Popolare. Boa noite. And then to Rodrigo Caetano, who's saying Aurea or Ciro for the win. Definitely among the popular candidates. And I'm going to go to you first, Alex, for, well, firstly, like, I know that you're kind of catching up. You've had a busy day, and obviously there's a lot of attention put on this for you. But tell me about what your impressions are about even just the artists that we've seen so far.
Okay, at least when I saw the composers, I was very excited with Agir, FF, Aurea, Azeitonas, and then I'm looking at it, Fábio Rebordão also. Especially with, I have to agree with Rita, Aurea and Ciro. For me, they are two of my favorite singers at the moment. I was really excited to see Aurea's song because I spoke with you, Steve, as well, about him and about her, sorry. And she has a great voice. She's so talented. Her personality, her attitude and stage, she's amazing. So I didn't listen to the song very carefully. It's a ballad. It's a smooth ballad, but I believe that she can do something bigger in stage, and she can make it better, you know, make it grow a little bit more.
Elevate the song.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems like she's definitely one to watch, especially because I understand that she's done. Was she a vocal coach on one of
Yeah,
The
the
Voice.
programs? On The Voice, yes,
Yes.
exactly.
She has been
Uh,
for like 3 or 4 seasons
Yeah, for
now.
some seasons.
Yes, that's right. And Clara, you've listened to all the songs. I want to know from your perspective, since you've obviously followed Eurovision for some time with us. And last year, a lot of people were sleeping on Portugal, and then by the time that we actually saw it in Rotterdam, people were really pleasantly surprised by one, how elegant it was, two, the strength of the performers that were the Black Mamba, and three, it actually did better than we, I guess, tend to expect for Portugal. Obviously, we're hoping that things continue in that direction. But what are your general attitudes this year about the songs that we've seen?
Well, it's really great that you pointed out that many people slept on Portugal last year, because I was one of them. And because of that, I made a point to listen from the beginning to the end of the songs, because I realized on this selection this year that a lot of things can happen in those 3 minutes. And these 20 artists, these 20 songs are such good quality that you really have to listen carefully from the beginning to the end, because all of the songs build up really nicely. All of the songs are such good quality, and there's such a great range of different musical genres that makes the Festival da Canção 2022 a very interesting festival to watch. I'm pleasantly surprised.
And now I think we should start getting into some of these songs. Let's start with Ciro, which Rita, you already touched upon him. One of the I guess most notable names in this selection. He's also singing his own song as well. Tell me about a little bit about him and what your impressions are of his song.
Well, as I said before, he became more famous around 2020 with a famous single of his. And I remember ever since I listened to that single, I was like, okay, so one more artist to my top list that I really want to go to Festival da Canção, and who knows, Eurovision. So yeah, it was definitely one of the contestants that I was more anxious for and more excited. And when I listened to the song, his song was actually the last one to be released. And I was listening to the songs, and I kept like wanting like the songs to end so I could read his song, because I was so excited that I don't think that I listened properly the songs before him. That means all of his songs. So when I was like listening to his song, I was very nervous, and I was like, okay, this is it. Like, this has to save Festival da Canção. And when I started to listen to it, I was like very carefully listening to it. And there was like just, it reached a point where I was like, yes, this is what I wanted it to be. So it was quite a surprise, because I was like, I know that whenever I want an artist on Eurovision, or Festival da Canção in this case, because we don't know who wins, sometimes the song is not the best, and I'm always like, oh, but he's so talented. But in this case, I'm really excited for the song, and for now, I may change my mind within a few weeks, but for now, my 12 points go to him.
It's one with that seems to be leaving an impression on a lot of people. I took a quick look at the My Eurovision scoreboard app, and that's currently the #1 song. I would say, a notable ballad, has modern production behind it. It feels like right now, and it has like a really, really notable vocal performance. So I can see why this one has been causing a bit of a stir. Alex, what are your impressions of Ciro's song?
Yes, I listened to it. It sounds a little bit slow that I was expecting, because he can do so much better, and his voice, it's outstanding.
This world.
Yeah, totally. So I really want to see it live, so we can grow during the song. As Rita said about Aurea as well, elevate the song. I think he must do it. So it's a bit plain for me, but I'm still anxious to see it live and how it goes.
Yeah, I think he has potential to do it like a big performance.
And Clara, I understand that this one wasn't one of the ones that really jumped out at you.
Yeah, it didn't, and I don't know why. Maybe it was because of the placing that of my YouTube playlist that I found, because I wasn't following the official one in the one that's on Festival da Canção. It was like it was suggesting me one after the other in a random order. Maybe it was that, but I thought it was a really good song. I thought it was a decent one, but maybe it just came after many ballads that I had already been hearing. And as I'm not from Portugal and I had never heard from Zero, I didn't know who he was. So maybe there's like a glamour to him if you know who he is and you have followed his career. But for me, it didn't stand out. So I wanted to know who Zero was, and that's what I told you guys before starting the video. That please let me know who Zero is, because I'm hearing a lot of rumors about the song and his possibilities.
I don't know if you guys have seen it's like a meme that I came across in the last year. Basically, if you think about some of the recent participants that we've had from Portugal, Salvador Sobral, Conan Osiris, and Tatanka, the lead singer from the Black Mamba, they have a very similar look. And basically, the caption of the meme was, Portugal basically sends Jesus every 2 years.
Well, Ciro has long hair.
Exactly.
The hair is longer, yeah.
He would fit the pattern. Of course, it would be a year early, so I don't know if that means that it's forbidden or something. But I thought that was pretty funny, and I have to say that I do really enjoy the song. Maybe not my favorite, but one that I'm going to keep my eye on for sure. And I want to pull up some comments that we have so far here. Ricardo Freitas, why is Portugal #1 in the odds right now? Because the odds are taking shape, even though we only have 3 songs, and you should pay it very little attention. But it means that somebody's really excited about songs in Portugal. Ricardo Albuquerque saying, I love the selection. I have a couple of favorites. Let us know what those favorites are. I'm curious. The Sergio Gonçalves is saying Aurea y Fado Bicha. We'll definitely talk about both of them soon. Hello to Moonwalker. Oh, it's your birthday. Happy birthday, Moonwalker.
Happy birthday.
Parabéns.
Parabéns, felicidades.
So then let's go to Aurea, because we've already touched upon her as far as she's been one of the coaches on The Voice, a notable singer. Another thing about her is that her song is in English, and I know that I think most of the songs in her career have actually been in English as well. I think it's only been recently that she's been singing more in Portuguese. So let's go to you, Alex, because you were the one who was, when we spoke a few months ago, this was one of the artists that you were most excited to see.
Yes, I wasn't expecting her to be the singer of a song, honestly, because she has already a great career here. Sadly, I never saw her coming internationally. I don't know why. I don't know if she ever tried, or if she's trying right now with this participation at Eurovision, because I guess she has all it got to be an international star. But yeah, recently she has been making some Portuguese songs. She didn't in the past. She always sang in English, and yes, I was very, very excited. I also shared some music with you about her songs, and especially her latest single in Portuguese, Frágil. I think it's such a beautiful song. I would love to see that song in Eurovision. Let's see how it goes. I don't know.
And how about for you, Rito? What did you feel about her song?
I'm not gonna lie, I was expecting a bit more, but I'm with Alex. I thought that she wouldn't be the singer of the song because she's very famous. I thought that she would maybe even choose one of her previous contestants of The Voice or something. But yeah, I really like the song. It's currently in my top 5. But she's such an amazing singer, and her voice is just out of this world that I think that the song lacks like a climax, like something that, because it seems pretty, there's a point where I feel like I want more. And I feel like at the end of the song, she kind of gives it to me, but then the song ends.
It's
I really
little bit
really
too
like
late.
the song.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree, because I've listened, like, I would say 3 minutes, something like that, and I was listening to it always expecting a little bit more, but still it's amazing, and it's in my top 5. And I'm really excited because she's one of the artists that I've always wanted to participate in Festival da Canção, because she's just amazing. And I was really sad that I couldn't interview her today because she wasn't there.
Yeah.
But her song
She
was
told
the
me
first
last night,
one.
"Oh, I'm gonna die. I'm gonna see Aurea."
Yeah. So maybe it was a good sign that you didn't go, because I would die and couldn't.
You would
interview
die.
So yeah, but I'm really excited, and definitely top 5 material.
But it's curious because since Salvador, known artists are trying to participate in Festival da Canção. That never happened because the Portuguese audience always look at the Festival da Canção singers from the 90s to forward, has, you know, cheap singers. Okay, Festival da Canção, oh, he's no good, so keep it away. But since Salvador won, that changed everything. The Black Mamba are very famous, and they tried.
Yeah, we've definitely seen things change for the better, I would say, even if it doesn't always translate to good results at Eurovision. Because I'm thinking of Conan Osiris, who, you know, not a great result, but still, like, that was a surprise for a lot of people that he didn't advance. And exactly, clearly created a very big impact, had such a song that was really out there. And I think of the words of Kate from Goe, who was, you know, kind of in defense of her own song, was saying that I prefer that people either love it or hate it, because it would be worse if you turn it on and say, oh yeah, that's nice, and then forget about it. So yeah, like
Osiris was like 50-50. You either loved it or hated it.
Yeah, totally. But anyway, getting a little bit off topic. Clara, what were your impressions of Aurea's song?
I liked it. It's one of my favorite songs. I thought the whole song was going to be the first part of it, where it's very stripped down and it's raw, melancholic, and intimate. And I wasn't upset with it. I thought it was. If I saw it on a Eurovision stage, I'm assuming there's going to be a lot of rock bands or hyper-produced musical tracks. So this would have worked as a breather. But then I was very pleasantly surprised as it built up, because for me personally, it built up really nicely and amazingly, and then it finished. So there's like a mastery. It's like, oh, what more? Like leaving the audience wanting more. And I think that's a very good point, because that's going to make you listen to the song again.
Exactly. It's definitely better than leaving them wanting less, I would have to say. So Jake Nason saying that why Saudade and Ciro and Blacci stand out to them. Yeah, I mean, and among the ones that you mentioned, there's definitely some that have stood out to me personally, and I think that among the rest of us, we would say as well. Ricardo is saying, I love the dual linguistics on Saudade from Maro, Portuguese and English fusion. Might this be a recipe for success? Well, since this is the second time that song has come up, let's talk about Maro. Rita, what were your impressions of her song?
Well, first of all, I had that the title was in Portuguese, so I just assumed the song was going to be in Portuguese. And when I started to listen to the song, I heard English, and I was like, what? I was like very confused, because half the song is entirely in English, and then in the chorus she says saudade, and then the second half is like Portuguese. It was quite unexpected, actually. It's not one of my favorites, but it's definitely one that kind of stood out because of this duality, because it was, I don't even know. When I started listening to the song, I wasn't expecting at all to be in English. And then I was like, where's the Portuguese? Why would she have like a Portuguese title and not sing it in Portuguese? Makes no sense. And then I started listening to Portuguese, and I was like, oh, okay, now it makes more sense. But yeah, and she was, but yeah, it's not one of my favorites, but she's a good bet, I would say.
Let's quickly say hello to Jessica.
Hello.
One thing I want to touch upon is that it seems like it's not quite Festival da Canção without a song about saudade. And I know that it's a really kind of beloved word and theme in Portuguese music, because last year we had two. We had Saudade by Caretas and Romeo Bairros. And I'm forgetting the name of the singer, but Na Mais Profunda Saudade.
Na Mais Profunda Saudade of Valeria.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
And Alex, like, I mean, I'm kind of poking fun at the idea, but it's true that saudade does tend to be a recurring theme. And when we were talking about Conan Osiris before, there was that line that was often repeated: "Quem mata," I'm probably getting it wrong. "Quem mata o saudade," right?
Yeah. Yes, that's correct.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think they try to do something that creates impact, because they say that saudade there's only in the Portuguese dictionary, and the other language translated, but using more than one word, and that makes an impact. But it's getting so used. I don't know if it's a good idea. So
maybe getting a little cliche at this point.
Yeah. Enough.
I thought the same
Yeah.
when I saw the name.
Mm-hmm. But I had the same reaction as well, because I obviously recognized the word, and I was like, okay, so I'm expecting it to start in Portuguese, but it started right away in English.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I wonder if that's like a better way of articulating this obsession with saudade as a term of, because I understand that people explain that it doesn't only mean nostalgia, and it doesn't only mean longing. It's something that you say to the people and the things that you miss the most. So maybe what Ricardo's saying, it might be a better way of explaining that idea to a broader audience. But Clara, what did you think of this song?
Well, I thought it was a really good song, and the chorus really took me by surprise. Like when the beat starts and she starts singing Saudade part, I didn't see that turn coming up, so I'm very excited about how this song is going to do.
Yeah, definitely. Andy's asking us, if you had to call a winner tonight, who would it be? Do we even want to go down this road already?
Okay,
Ciro, Fado Bicha, Aurea, TheMisterDriver. Yeah.
Yes,
That's not a winner. That's many winners.
Yeah,
Let's reduce maybe one or two.
So Rita's calling for a 5-way tie where they all go to Eurovision.
Yes.
They combine all their songs together.
Super group.
But you mentioned Fado Bicha, which I think is one of the artists that we should definitely talk about, because
Yes.
they really make a statement with their music. In fact, in their name, there's actually what is in most cases a homophobic slur. And I'm wondering if, Alex, you could kind of shine some light on that.
I have no idea who they are, honestly.
Okay, never mind. Rita, can you?
I heard them from your mouth the first time.
Okay, all right. I'm glad that
I told you I have no idea who they are, and I still have no idea who they are. So I saw a photo of them. I guess it's two guys.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
With makeup.
And that's full of makeup, and I have no idea, because their songs don't play on the radio. They don't show on TV, so I don't know who they are.
Well, I understand that they are quite a kind of underground act, and they're representing a side of the culture that isn't fully represented, I would say. Rita, maybe you could kind of introduce them better than I can.
I recognize their name. I've never listened to any song by them, but when they were announced that they would be one of the contestants, I remember the name. And today I got to hear the song, and I wasn't expecting much because I didn't know them. I just knew like the name, and I think I've seen pictures before, but it really surprised me. I remember that I was at the conference, and they were the second song, second song, I think. I'm not sure, but they were one of the firsts. And I remember I was talking to this person, and suddenly like I stopped, and I was like, wait, this is good. And it had like the rhythm.
But
and,
is it alternative fado? What is it about?
It's something
it reminds me of António Variações.
Oh, okay.
It's António Variações is a Portuguese singer. But I was really surprised with their song. And when I interviewed them, I asked them about the song. And one thing that they said was that they wanted, this was kind of like defying societal norms. And their song, it has, I think he described it as a poem. So I think people should like waste a little bit of time trying to understand the lyrics, because it's actually really strong and it's really powerful. I want to dig into more, but yeah, I really like their song. Second, 10 points. 10 points go to them.
10 points. Feel free. We also just had a comment from Juan Pablo giving us his full point breakdown. And if you'd like to, we're more than happy to read it as well. And yeah, my understanding when, researching the acts when they were first announced was that their purpose is to kind of challenge this idea that's really held on to by people who are conservative about Portuguese culture and Fado as an art form as well. So go ahead.
No, I was just going to say that this is one of the things that kind of worry me the most in the national final, because I think that they're Portuguese people, they're very nice and stuff, but there is quite a lot of like group that it's kind of conservative. So I really think that they're going to be like Conan Osiris. You either love them or you hate it. Because I think that maybe young people will, vibe to the song and acknowledge that it's a good song. But I do think that some conservatives will like be, oh, I don't want this representing my country on Eurovision.
But Filipe Sambado,
and I feel it's a shame. Yeah.
But Filipe Sambado,
he
was
really
in second, so it was a similar figure, the outfit.
It did remind me a little bit to Conan Osiris in the experimental sense of the song itself.
Yes.
I thought this was literally like the most interesting sounding song from the whole list of songs, because it sounds like old traditional Portuguese, but it's met with distortion and a really nice beat. So
it has a Portuguese touch to it.
The traditional folklore for the Portuguese song. So it was very brilliantly made, I think.
Definitely. And obviously one that people are going to remember. And I take the points that everybody has said as far as the fact that because it's kind of, challenging the norms that for some people are very, they hold very deeply to their hearts. I think that it is going to be one that people either love or hate. And it's quite political in that sense, but not going to be an act that people forget. And that's one of the best things that you can do.
Voila.
Cassandra is saying Fado Bicha is a fusion between folk and Fado. Yeah, exactly. It's as we said, it's bringing the past into the present. I'm seeing a lot of comments about, such as this one from Diego, Pongo the Queen, and I am dying to talk about this song, which was brought to us by DJ Marfox. It's Pongo and Tristany, and I'm struggling to say it.
Go.
What's that?
You should take this song, start it.
I should. Well, okay, so I personally had a lot of questions about what DJ Marfox was going to be bringing, because when I was listening to some of his music, it's like club music. It was like psytrance and techno and that kind of thing, and there were certainly traditional elements that he brought into all of those. And I was expecting that he wasn't going to sing his own song, and what we got are two really fascinating performers. Excuse me. I found excuse me. Sorry, it's been a rough winter for a lot of people, as you can imagine. I had a performance of Pongo singing Bruxos recommended to me, and she is just so magnetic. I am so excited about this song. It's very up tempo, much like what we were talking about with Fado Bicha. This also brings traditional elements in with modern. I think it leans a little bit more on the modern side. And I'm really gonna try and dive into these lyrics a little bit more, because it seems to be talking about something that's really a bit political and in a diversity sense. I don't fully know yet, and if anybody wants to throw me a bone and explain, maybe I'll go to you first, Rita. What were your impressions of this song?
I just need you to remind me the title, so I know that I'm thinking about the right song. DÉGRÁ.Dêe.
DÉGRÁ.Dêe.
Okay, yeah.
DÉGRÁ.Dêe.
So it's quite interesting. That's other song that I was talking to someone there on the conference, and I stopped to listen to, because they had it play on the background, little clips of each song for the first time. And I remember I really liked the beat, but it's it's not one of my favorites, but I do admit that it has potential to be a guilty pleasure, because I might not like the song, but I'll listen to it anyway. You know what I mean? But I'm actually quite I'm excited to see how they're going to do live. It's one of the acts that I'm maybe more anxious for, but like I don't even know. I'm
When
just curious.
when
to
you say
see what they're gonna
anxious,
do.
when you say anxious, is it like anxious nervous or anxious excited?
She's
Or both?
nervous. No, but it has potential to be a guilty pleasure. It
Okay,
does.
fair enough. What were your impressions, Clara?
For me, it's not one of my favorite songs, but purely because it's not a genre I resonate with, and there was too much aggressiveness. I understood it was maybe about social issues, or there was some kind of deep message that because of the language I wasn't fully understanding. But like her voice sounded very aggressive, and she has all the right to be angry about certain issues, but I couldn't really connect with the beat of the song so much.
We have Ricardo telling us that dégradé is a French word which means fading in English. And that, I guess, makes sense because they keep saying now est dégradé. It's like, as in, it's not going away, we're not going away. I'm also not a native Portuguese speaker. I over the holidays, I learned just how much work I have to do because my partner's mom was visiting from Brazil. So I had been very out of practice. So I have a lot of work to do, but I'm always really excited to dive into these songs and the meaning of it. Alex, was this one that you got to hear?
No, unfortunately not. Oh, I'm feeling embarrassed. I still have to listen to the songs.
Yeah, and when you have the time, I'm sure that you're going to find a lot of fascinating entries in there. And there's been a few others that have been mentioned that we haven't talked about yet. Rita, do you have a recommendation for one that we can talk about?
Oh, the driver.
Mr. Driver.
Mr. Driver, yes.
Yeah.
We talked about that one a lot.
Oh
Ruben
my
loves
God.
it. Yeah.
First of all, he's such a sweet person and he's very like approachable. I really enjoyed talking to him. And one of the things that I remember of the interview is that I was asking him how he felt now that his song was out. And he said that all he wanted to do was to cheer people up. Wanted to make people happy. Yes. And I said that, well, we've been going through this pandemic, so it's quite it wasn't an essential song, I would say. It really makes you happy. I talk for myself. When I listened to the song, I was just jumping around and singing. I didn't even know the lyrics because I was listening to the first time. But it's really catchy. It really makes you happy, makes you want to dance. And I wasn't expecting at all to be one of my favorites, but it's currently in my top 3. So yeah, I really, really, really liked it.
Yeah, you're definitely right to talk about the kind of positive spirit that it brings. And I mean, it's called Calisun, so you've also got some some imagery there. Yes. Clara, what were your impressions of this one?
I liked it very much. Like from the first chord, it's funky, it has a vibe, it's chill, it's groovy, it has its own personality, and because it's so different to the rest of the songs we've heard on the selection. Yes. It's going to stand out, and it's also super radio friendly. And I would love for Portugal to actually take this to Eurovision because it's so unexpected from Portugal. You wouldn't expect
something
that.
We've never brought.
You've never brought, and it's not what, if you think about Portuguese music, this doesn't come to mind. So this is like a good wake-up call for the rest of Europe to know what's down in Portugal.
and that's
me a bit of Netherlands 2021, a little bit the song.
Really?
Yeah. When I listened to it, the vibe, the cheerful melody, it reminded me because of that, because of the happy side of the song. I don't know if it wins. I don't know if it's going to stand out in Europe. Honestly, in Eurovision, I don't think so.
Well, I don't know. It seems
staging could be surprising.
Yeah.
We haven't had a surfer song for a very long time.
And the last one that we had was probably notable for the wrong reasons. Hola, Spain. Hola, Spain. I don't know what I'm saying. Hola, España. But what was I going to say? one of the things that I like about this selection is that it's kind of like opening up a time capsule, in the sense that a lot of the songs, they borrow elements from kind of like all over the musical sphere, whether it's, you definitely have a number of them that are quite focused in the sound of today, but then you also get some that borrow from musical eras that we don't always think about, or at least are not always integrated into pop music quite as much as, let's say, like the 80s is, because it's everywhere. Yeah, I know. Clara and I are not exactly fans. But anyway, that leads me to talk about another one that we haven't talked about in full, and this is Ines's song, Fome de Viagem. Again, I need practice. Rita, you got to speak to Ines, so tell me, what did you like about her?
Yeah. Oh my God, such a sweetheart. I love her so much. She was one of, I don't even know, she was amazing. I remember that I was just going to interview her because the songwriter is Pedro, and she's the one who's going to interpret the song. And I went to them both, and I was asking if I could do a quick interview, and she was like, "Oh my God, I'm so excited, but please, my song is passing for the first time. Let me just go take a picture, take videos, and I'll be back and you'll interview me." So it was quite funny because I was listening to her song for the first time before even interviewing her. So it was quite exciting. So she was very excited and talking, and she was like, and I was really inspired by José Cid because of the many languages in just one song. Because and she was like, I have 8 languages in my song. You go tell this to your Eurovoxers. Go tell them that they have to they have to find their language in my song. She was very excited, and she even told me that because she's from the free submission, she was not chosen by RTP. She won free submission. And she told me that she is a psychiatrist and that she had to hold the patient because she was so excited that she couldn't think of anything else. The patient had to wait because she was like, "Oh my God, I'm going to Festival da Canção," and she was like super super sweet, super down to earth. And honestly, this makes me like her song even more because I connected to some of them, so I do feel like it made me connect more to the song. And honestly, her song is also in my top 5. I mean, every song seems to be in my top 5. But I don't know. It's so happy and so positive. And it talks about how she misses traveling and how COVID didn't let her travel, and now she just wants to travel. That's why she mixes up a lot of languages. She mixes up Portuguese, English, French, Spanish, a lot of languages. And honestly,
Russian,
even Russian. And so I'm very excited to see how she's going to do on stage in March. Really praying for her.
I'm gonna pull up this comment again. Ines de Melo, Fome de Viagem. I'm letting the kind of Brazilianness of my Portuguese slip through, but that's just how it's gonna be. What was the only one that won my smile? Sort of 21st century Mary Poppins, and that's exactly how I felt. I actually kind of like, not only was I smiling, but I also kind of laughed because there's a real cheekiness to it that's just so fun, and because when she sang all those things in those different languages, it's kind of like tongue-in-cheek, like a little bit stereotypical, because she talks about tapas and something else in Spanish, right?
And pan, tapas en pan.
Tapas en pan, yeah. Clara, what did you like about this song?
I actually talked to you about this, that I thought it felt just right out of an animated Disney movie. Like it's a sequence song that the main character is going through to a trip, and you can see I can visualize it very well.
Yes.
Like she's walking around all of these very colorful cities and like trying this, getting this. It sort of feels like Beauty and the Beast, the sequence where she's trying all of the food, and like the Lumiere is like doing this, and the teacup is serving her. I don't know. It felt like a movie sequence.
Yeah, it's very theatrical, and it makes sense because is it Pedro the songwriter?
Pedro,
Yes, Pedro Marquez.
Yes,
He, I believe, is a composer for film and television. So this theatrical side of the song is really coming through, and it makes me think of Barbara Tinoco from 2 years ago, because her song was also Passé Partout. It was really old school. Had on stage they had this really nice routine and everything, and that had a very strong theatrical vibe to it. And Alex, I want to know, how do you feel something like that would do at Eurovision?
I would love to see that. I was expecting that Barbara could win that year, but then Elisa did, and she did perfectly well. I still love the song, one of my favorite Portuguese entries ever. But yes, I would love to see some dramatic scenes, something like that, because Portugal, as far as I know, didn't send anything like that. And it was very, very a nice idea to bring, something different, since they are turning the songs differently. For example, singing in English, and someone was asking on the live chat the fact that more songs are coming up in English, and that's evolution. That's changing. That's things that people want to see as well. I love the songs sing in Portuguese, but it's quite interesting to see this, and I'm looking forward to see more evolution, more changings, and I'm up to that.
Yeah, me too. And that was one of the things that I was really curious about as well going into this year, because as we know, the Black Mama was the first to send a song that was entirely in English to represent Portugal. So it makes sense that we've seen that kind of change. And, I think that the people who are kind of afraid of that change, they at least can take some solace in the fact that it's still principally in Portuguese, and, a lot of great songs, and kind of regardless of language. And I think that's the kind of thing that you would hope for in a selection where it's so broad in its sounds and all that. Just going back quickly to Calisun, Sarah said she really liked it, so different from others. Tiago saying Maro or Pongo in Tristeni, for sure. Pongo in Tristeni reminds me of a lot of Buraca Som Sistema. Oh, thank you. I mean, I've always had the beard. It's just sometimes a little bit longer than in the past. But yeah, and Sarah Halloran saying that she loves Milhana's song. Miliana, right? Miliana, yeah.
Corpo she's the song. Yeah. Agir is the songwriter.
Yes, and I have to say, this was probably the biggest surprise for me, because Agir is pretty well known, and I would have expected, I know that he is a songwriter, but I would have expected that he would have sung his own song. What did you feel about that, Rita?
I honestly, I said before, that I wasn't expecting Aurea to sing her song because she was very famous. But when I thought about Agir, I really thought that he was going to sing his own song. I was actually kind of shocked. But yeah, I think that she has a great voice. And I only heard the song once, I think. So I don't have a full opinion of it.
Is it Corpo de Mulher?
Yes.
Corpo de Mulher, yes. But yeah, I really want to listen to it more. I got really curious about it, to be honest. And he said that I interviewed him, and he said that the song was about what women still face, about discrimination and stuff. So yeah, I really do. You reminded me that I have to go listen to that song and go word by word.
Yeah, there's only so much that you can get off of a first impression of a song anyway, and I'm going to be really excited to kind of go back in and pick them apart a little bit more, try and extrapolate the meaning. But in that one, as you pointed out, it's called Body of a Woman, so it makes sense that he wouldn't necessarily sing that song for himself. I think that was the right choice. But Clara, what did you think of this song?
I thought it was a very evocative song. The way she sang it was very evocative. It was very delicate, and it did have a feeling of the traditional canção portuguesa.
Yeah, totally. It's very at home in this selection, and I'm going to be very curious to see what they do with it visually. Ricardo is saying, even when Portuguese artists sing in English, they bring a very different twist and individualism. As much as their songs might be in English, you get a Portuguese feeling when listening to them, unique. And I think that's sometimes one of the things that gets lost in the discussion around language, because if we're talking about, Eurovision fans in general, the kind of overwhelming opinion, or the predominant opinion, is that singing in a native language is better because you're representing your culture better. But I think that a selection like this, kind of challenges that idea, because it isn't just about the words you choose. It's all the kind of musical elements that go into a song, and from the instrumentation to the really the aesthetic choices visually, to the chord progressions and all that, because there's certain chord progressions that may be more popular in the Balkans than from the Baltics, or the kind of pop melodies that we expect from Scandinavia are not the kind of songs that we'd hear from Eastern Europe, for example. But yeah, so I didn't ask you about this one, Alex. Did you get to listen to the song?
No, but I can tell you about what I was expecting from him. I wasn't expecting that he would sing the song, because I think Agir is a different artist. When he came up, he's the son of Paulo de Carvalho, that won Eurovision with the song, most popular song ever in Portugal of Eurovision. Portuguese people prefer that song to Salvador Sobral still, because it's related with politics and the Portuguese Revolution. It has a very strong meaning. And I think that he wants to not follow the steps of his father. So he's always trying to put him a bit aside of the fame. He's very famous, but he could be a lot more famous if he was more into the business, I don't know if Rita agrees with me. That's my point of view about Agir. He could be a really, really, really big star here, but I think it seems that he doesn't want to show up, and being the son of Paulo Carvalho.
Fair enough. And one thing that we saw last year at Festival da Canção was the tribute that he did to his father, where he sang "É Bom Esperar Alguém."
His father was very surprised, because he wasn't expecting his son to do that, because he knows him and he's not like that.
Yeah,
his voice is amazing. I gotta praise his voice.
It was beautiful, and also too, when you look at Agir, he's got lots of tattoos, and he's not the face of that style of music typically, you would say. So I can see why it was such a big surprise. And that song, of course, is legendary, because if anyone can say my songs was a tool in an uprising against a dictatorship, that's one of the coolest things you can say.
Totally.
Juan Pablo is saying, I love Fado, even though I'm Argentinian, and even though there's a very good Portuguese charm in many songs. Definitely, yeah, as we were talking about before, there's always a kind of Portuguese character to the songs, regardless of language. Rui Duar is saying, saudações da região autônoma dos Açores.
Oh,
well.
I'm from there. I'm an islander.
Rita's neighbor.
Oh.
Getting
From
some
which island, Rita?
Rita and Ruben.
I'm from São Miguel.
Aww.
Is São Miguel the biggest one?
Yes.
Okay.
And the coolest.
I've seen lots of really beautiful pictures of the Azores, and I am hoping to go there someday. And actually, my partner's lineage goes back to, he's Brazilian, but he did his family tree a while back, and when you go all the way back to the family coming over from Portugal, it actually traces back to the Azores.
My mom was in Azores in October. She did a trail with her mountain hiking group, and she loved it. And the photos are so amazing.
I was just going to ask. I bet that they're amazing.
Yeah.
Portuguese beauties.
Philippe is saying Agir is way more comfortable as a composer right now, although he does his own performances here and there. Plus, he loves to help launch new artists. And yeah, I guess that's why I was a bit surprised that he didn't sing his own song, because you can find his own releases out, and they've done, it seems to be decently well. Maybe not at the level of Perto de Mim by Ciro, but still quite. Actually, wasn't that No. Sorry, I was getting confused with something. But I was going to say that wasn't Ager featured on that, but it was actually that Diogo Gonçalves was featured on one of Ager's most famous songs. Anyway, sorry, I'm going all over the place. But I guess, yeah, that's why I was a bit surprised that he didn't appear on his own song.
Actually, on his interview, he told me that one of his goals was to actually show people the voice of the Milhares, I think that's what she's called, to show her song and her talent. He was really excited for her. So yeah, I do agree with the comment.
Which is definitely a very refreshing perspective to have when, I feel like these kinds of contests, when we're talking about the whole continent, tend to be a lot of people wanting to make it about themselves, right? Let's be honest.
Totally.
Yeah, and this year there's a lot of songwriters that they're the ones who sing the song. Actually.
Yeah, totally. So we should wrap up soon. Are there any songs that we should touch on briefly before we go? I mean, obviously there's 20 of them, and we're not going to get to all of them in detail. I did have somebody mention Blacci's song, Maro, No Fim. Was anyone? Did that song jump out at anyone?
Oops.
Not to me, but I would. FF did call my attention, and Quatro e Meia also.
Yes, Os Quatro y Meia. Yeah, there's been a bunch. Rita, you were going to say something about Blacci.
Yeah, I was just going to say that I listened to the song, and she's very sweet. I interviewed her, and she was super excited about the song. But yeah, I still have it's one of the songs that I haven't carefully listened to yet. So I gotta go listen to it. But she was very nice, and she was like super excited to go to Festival da Canção. And also,
and I believe
very good. I agree.
Yeah, well, FF was somebody that you had mentioned earlier that you were excited about meeting, and as I understand, he participated in the Portuguese version of Your Face Sounds Familiar / Tu Cara Me Suena.
Yes.
And he was a kid. He participated in Bravo Bravissimo in Italy. He represented Portugal beautifully. He didn't win, but almost won, singing a Fado of Amália Rodrigues.
Wow.
So FF is so talented. You should seek more things about him. He's so talented.
He was one of the artists that I was really looking forward to listen to. And I think that a good thing of his song, many people are saying that it may not be festival worthy or something, but I do think that his song is like one of those songs where you don't have to have a climax or something. It's just so simple and so, I don't know. I really liked the song. The first time I listened to it, I was like, okay, nice song. But now that I've been listening to it more through my afternoon, I'm really enjoying it more, and it's growing on me. And should I say top 5 again? But it's totally there. He doesn't need like I don't know. And there's some falsettos there. I got the chills when I really love him. And he was like
He didn't choose a mainstream career.
Yeah, I would say.
He chose a different path. So
maybe that's why I love him so much. And I was very nervous to meet him because he was like my crush while I was growing up, because he participated. He's an actor, and he participated in a series that I watched back then, Morangos com Açúcar, very well-known series. And well, I'm from '99, so I kind of. But yeah, he was really. I was really impressed. I really liked the song.
Yeah, it was definitely one that I noticed, and it was a bit of a surprise based on what I had heard from him, because as you mentioned, he's more of an actor now. I know that he does release music, but doesn't seem to be the focus of what he's doing. So another one that I'm going to be really interested to listen to again. But as we are coming close to the top of the hour, I think that we should wrap it up there. Thank you so much for joining us. And if you haven't done so already, we'd love for you to subscribe to Eurovox, because we cover all the selections. And speaking of other selections, if you want to stick around, in 5 minutes, we're going to be debuting our review of all 14 songs of Benidorm Fest just next door in Spain. There's lots of excitement around that selection as well, so I'd love to know what you guys guys have to say about those. And be sure to follow us on all of our socials, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We're going to be, again, covering the selections like Festival da Canção. There will be more videos where we get to look at these songs in more detail as well. And we'd love to know which ones you're most excited for, which ones you think are going to win, and everything else relating to Eurovision. For now, we'll leave it there. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Obrigado, Clara. Obrigado, Rita. Obrigado, Alex.
Obrigada.
I promise I'll listen to the songs next time.
Look, it's you do your best, right? And we all have lives outside of Eurovision, so no one can blame you for that. But obviously the excitement is felt. We will see you all next time, and we hope that you hop over to that other video, which is debuting in just 5 minutes. Until then, take care, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you, obrigada.